The key function of the Supreme Court of the United States, which is made up of these 9 people down here, is to do what we call judicial review. They look at cases involving disputes of the Constitution, whether it's state laws that are trying to violate it or federal laws that are trying to violate it, and they are to review those cases to make a determination of how it should be proceeded and handled legally, right? So if there's court decisions that happen in district court or appeals courts that are maybe they don't agree, so a decision's made down here, and then the appeals court doesn't agree, makes a different decision, then it could get appealed to the Supreme Court and they make the final decision, right? Or maybe it's a policy by the executive branch of the government. Maybe there's an executive order that goes out, or there's an executive decision that isn't really have a strong basis in the powers given to the president or the executive branch in the Constitution. The Supreme Court could strike it down. Actually, all members of federal courts could strike down that policy, but if the Supreme Court does, that's the highest level strike down, and that would be final, right? So judicial review, they interpret cases that involve the Constitution and the laws to see what needs to happen. Okay. How do you get this job? Well, you're nominated by the president of the United States, whoever they happen to be, and then you're confirmed by the Senate. And if you notice, this is a check and balance, right? The senators from the legislative branch have to approve a nomination by the president of the executive branch. The president just doesn't get whoever they want. They put a name forth and it can go forward or not. And sometimes it doesn't. So this is a lady over here on the screen, Harriet Miers is her name. She was nominated by George W. Bush, and there were some scandals kind of in her background, not like major scandals, but like some of the scandals involving the law firm that she worked with. And so as they started to do like an FBI background check on her and she met with senators, they were just had a lot of concerns. And so by the time it got to her confirmation trial to sit before the members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, she had to back out because the senators wouldn't support her, right? So there's that check and balance on power. Sometimes in the course of hearings, things can get brought up about your personal life that could make it really hard to get you confirmed. The most obvious example is the Brett Kavanaugh. He was accused of sexual assault. And it was kind of a he said, she said kind of a situation. So it wasn't provable or anything like that, but it caused doubts to rise of whether or not he could get confirmed. And so the senator from California was really grilling him on this. And it basically came down to a very narrow vote. And he barely made it. So once again, the Senate, especially if you think about political parties, they can make it difficult to get a nominee through. Typically, though, Supreme Court justices go through with a lot of support. They usually get both Democrats and Republicans to vote for them because it comes down to qualifications. And the president normally will not put someone forth that hasn't been vetted and they don't feel super strong can make it. And so that's kind of how this works. To be on the Supreme Court, there's some qualifications. You really do have to be well educated. So, from a top law school of the country, like a Harvard or a Yale or a Columbia or Stanford or something like that, you do have to you have to have a lot of experience as a judge, but specifically as a federal judge. And then you have to have endorsements from people, meaning that you've got to be seen as in the legal community as well respected, well read. You make decisions that are reasonable. And the way I want you to think about this is people on the Supreme Court have a lifetime term. But if you average it out, they end up having about a 15 to 16 year life on the court, depending on their age and when they retire or die or whatever. And so if you think about it that way, if you think about what will happen between 2021 or 2022 and 2036 or 2037, a lot's going to happen in your life. You'll get married. You might have a few kids. You'll be in your working career. You'll be about my age. And so there's a lot that's going to happen to you in that time frame, right? Well, there's also going to be a lot. Imagine you had a job on the court and you had a job from 2022 to about 2037. Think of all the cases that you would hear, all the decisions that you would make, how that would impact the nation. And so justices have a long-term impact because they're going to serve most likely 8 to 10 years beyond any president term, even if they get elected for 2 terms. And people in Congress might serve this long, but they got to get reelected all the time. You have a lifetime appointment, and nobody can get you off the court. So that being said, justices have a long-term impact, and that's just important to note as we go forward.